Hi again, friend. If you've been told that your metabolism slows with age, that is only part of the story. Today, I want to look at three very simple morning habits that will help you reset your metabolism, balance your blood sugar, and actually help you feel energized again. So, a lot of people think that metabolism just slows as we get older, but that's not actually true. What's really happening is our lifestyle is the thing that changes. So, in most cases, we tend to move less, we become more sedentary, we lose muscle mass, particularly as women over the age of 30. And if we're not building it, it declines pretty rapidly with a very well known condition. We also tend to carry more stress and have higher levels of cortisol as time accumulates. So we have, perhaps in some cases, decades of traumas and dramas that get stored in our cells. And then our hormones, just for fun, get out of sync as well as our habits. So if we were to think about all of those variables and then we add on the years that we may have restricted calories, we have, potentially put ourselves in a fasting state, skipped meals, we may have nutritional deficiencies or excesses from toxins from the environment, from pollutants. We get this whole kind of imbalance that happens on a cellular level and affects our entire functioning. So the body basically then begins to kind of downshift to protect itself. So it's really not the age that's the issue. It really is a combination of all of these kind of variables, the sedentary, the eating less, and particularly probably protein, losing muscle mass, accumulating these imbalances over time and stressors, and then constantly running on cortisol. And then, of course, the fun shakeup of our hormones, particularly as women, that we encounter in midlife. So when you really look at it, it's not our age at all that slows metabolism. It's just all of these like small little lifestyle shifts that create this greater and larger imbalance over time that becomes more noticeable. So the good news is that this means that it's completely within our control and that you can absolutely reignite your metabolism, bring your energy, your digestions, and your hormones back to balance naturally, starting with the way that we actually begin the day. So morning is one of the most powerful times, in my opinion, to reset our metabolism. So in the morning, we can send the right signal to the body to saying that, here we are, we're going to be thriving today and not just merely surviving, which can happen when we are in a depleted state and chronic stress. So let's walk through these three simple morning habits that do exactly that. They're going to help you, first of all, boost your metabolism. They're going to allow your hormones to find their own natural rhythm and that we can boost the energy so that it can stay steady all day. So the first thing is to get morning light. And what this is basically what it sounds like, is getting natural light to hit our eyes before any artificial lights or from screens actually get registered into our brain. So that means, before you reach for your phone or your coffee, get outside. And I know that can suck, particularly in North America in the winter, but we want to let natural light hit our eyes and our skin if possible first thing in the morning. Ideally, sunset would be the most ideal time, but as soon as we possibly can, get outside for natural light before artificial light hits us. This is going to help us control or regulate our own internal clock, our own circadian rhythm. So this will help us regulate cortisol, our stress hormone, melatonin, the thing that helps us sleep. There is a clock that's triggered as soon as sunlight hits our eyes. It sends a signal and a whole cascade that's like a domino effect to help us sleep. So our sleep really, our sleep schedule is actually determined in the morning. So doing this can also support thyroid function, as I mentioned, the cortisol, and even insulin. Insulin, as you may know, is the key conductor for metabolism, the key hormone for metabolism. This Oh, it's the orchestrator, and it's the most important thing. If there's anything you want to study or do a deep dive on, go down the rabbit hole, do it on insulin. So all of these are kind of key players in our metabolism and our hormone balance. So we talked about circadian rhythm, and I'm in North America, I'm in Canada. So wintertime, getting outside first thing in the morning as soon as the sun rises really sucks. So my little hack, it's not ideal, but in some situations, what I do is just merely I open up my bedroom window. My bedroom window happens to face east. Good for me. That's the direction the sun rises. I'm sure we all know that from, remember, science class. um, anyhow, um, I open my window and I don't physically press my nose against the screen, but you know what I do. I just hang out there and I send a lot of gratitude and appreciation for all the things that I see within my view. So the world, the sun, the earth, the water, and the air and the ether. I just giving gratitude and just kind of soaking it in and letting the cold actually wake me up naturally. But I'm also in a really nice warm environment, but gazing towards the sun. So, I mean, I think it's that's something better than nothing. However, you can do you if you can get yourself outside. That would be even more ideal. The next thing that we can do is make sure that we are adequately hydrated. I know this sounds so basic, but most of us will wake up dehydrated, and particularly if we're in midlife or if you've had some wine the night or day before, or coffee, or maybe you've had some hot flashes and you've sweat overnight. So you may know that water alone just, it really isn't enough, right? If you're drinking a lot of water, an adequate amount of water without getting the trace minerals, the electrolytes, you're actually flushing them out of your system. So we really want to make sure that we're rehydrating not only with water, but the minerals, so that our cells can actually absorb the water that we're taking in. So currently I'm doing my own protocol of restoring my own electrolyte balance. I have a custom mineral product that I use and I can create for clients. So I'm on that track right now. But when I'm not doing that, what's a really nice way for me, particularly in the winter, is to have some warm water. I just boil water and have it hot. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's very soothing. So I like to have some warm water. You can add some lemon if you like, and use either Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt. Or my favorite is I use an electrolyte blend. It has all the trace nutrients that we need. The one that I use is Aussie Mineral. It's just straight up concentrated seawater from the shores of Australia. Well, it's not from the shores, it's deep into the ocean of Australia. I like it because it doesn't have any fillers, it doesn't have any colorants, it doesn't have any sweeteners, so it tastes a little bit salty. You do get used to it after a while. That's my personal preference. But even if you were just to start with Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt, it's going to give you some of the trace nutrients. I will drop the link for Aussie Minerals below if you wanted to find it. There are a plethora of different electrolytes that are available today. A lot of them are designed to taste good because salty water on its own tastes like salt water, just so you know. So when we can keep our hydration levels high enough, that's going to allow our body to convert food, what we're taking into energy most efficiently, right? So even if we're just mildly dehydrated, what that means is everything slows, including, metabolism, fat metabolism, energy levels, brain function, cognition, our cellular replication, like all of it, disposing of waste, everything gets sluggish and slow. So hydration is really important, and particularly remineralizing with trace minerals, or what we call electrolytes. Habit number 3, if you're ready, is to eat a balanced meal. So blood sugar friendly meal is what I'm going to recommend. So that means like not skipping a meal or just having coffee. That can keep us in activation, stress mode, keep our cortisol levels high, particularly all morning. And we're asking our body to, probably do some demanding things on an empty tank. So making sure that we are controlling the key conductor of all of our metabolic functions, which is insulin. So we can do that by controlling blood sugar. At least that's in part of the equation of controlling insulin. So that means focusing on a meal that is balanced with proteins, good fats, and complex carbohydrates, which means that it has fiber. So we want to avoid any kind of processed or packaged carbs, anything with a barcode on it. Eating vegetables that are crunchy, that would be the most ideal way that you can have a balanced plate. So this combination is going to support our blood sugar ultimately, and it's going to set us up for having stable energy throughout the rest of the day. So what does that look like? A breakfast could be like, for some people, eggs, perhaps with some sauteed greens, some avocado, nicely balanced. It's got the proteins, the fats, and the carbs, good carbs. One of my favorites is eggs with arugula and some avocado, and I drizzle white lemon balsamic vinegar on it. I know that sounds crazy and weird. Just give it a try before you come at me about how weird vinegar is on your eggs, but something about the lemon with the egg and the arugula and the bitter just works for me. Give it a try. Another option may be for some people, Greek yogurt with some berries and some flaxseed, nicely balanced. Another one perhaps could be some rolled oats with some like whole milk, not skim milk, not 2% milk, like get whole milk as your protein option, and then add some berries or even a grated apple on there. Another one that we use quite often with my custom nutrition plans for clients is Mandelade, which is a German dish, but it's a combination of nuts and seeds, typically almonds and sunflower seeds. You can toast them, you can soak them overnight, and a grated apple and some cinnamon. That's a beautiful way to support blood sugar. So the idea here is to have balanced meals so that you can balance your hormones, so that you can keep insulin under control and you can keep inflammation down. So we're not fixing our metabolism here by eating less. We're nourishing it so that it can actually thrive. That's the whole name of the game. So I do have one bonus tip for you if you wanted to go beyond this. I think these are the key three things. They sound very easy, and in nature, perhaps they sound simple, but perhaps not easy to do because it's the consistency that we're really looking for here and making it a part of your daily routine as a habit. So if you can start with that, that would be great. If you're already there, or adding one more thing is something doable for you, what you may consider doing first thing in the morning is get your body moving and do it with intention and do it in a way that is not punishing and you have to get yourself to the gym because that's one more thing to do because you need to lose weight. But I'm not talking like an hour of cardio, just, even 5-10 minutes of some gentle movement. That could be stretching, some walking, some squats, some skipping. This can help us keep our stress hormone down, cortisol down. It's going to help improve our insulin sensitivity. And as you may know, as you're moving your muscles, there's a demand for glucose. So everything that you've just taken in, the glucose then from the carbohydrates can then actually get utilized. And what that also signals is when we're moving our body in this kind of intentional way, is we're sending a signal that, hey, we're good, we're cool, we're safe, I'm alive, and I'm ready to burn energy in a most supportive way, that I'm not like running and rushing, and this is, comes with whatever guilt or shame or obligation. It's in a very intentional and deliberate way. So, moving right after breakfast, actually after any meal, but ideally breakfast, and even better if you can do it outside in nature. We are so disconnected from nature. That may be a whole nother video, but doing it outside would be the most ideal. I know that's a lot to ask for some of us, depending on where we are in what part of the world and what else you have going on in the day. But basically, moving your body and using the glucose, getting it out of the muscles and into use rather than storing it. You may know that glucose that doesn't get used gets stored as fat. So I understand that these habits may, as I said, sound kind of very simple, but this is what's going to help us retrain metabolism, balance your hormones, and it's also going to set you up all day to thrive. So if you're ready to learn how to tailor your meals and your habits to your own unique metabolism, you can click the link below here and see how I help women do exactly that. And if you're tuning in for the first time, please stick around or subscribe so you can get notified of future videos. Or if this is helpful, share it with someone who may benefit from it as well. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.